Welcome to the Building a Better You podcast, presented by the Garner Chamber of Commerce Young Professionals. I'm Nick Spindler with Community of Hope Ministries.
And I'm Chris Morgan with eXp Realty.
The goal of this podcast is to help young professionals develop and grow into successful business people in their communities.
In each episode, we will talk with local business leaders to provide strategies and tips to help our listeners.
So let's dive right in. Welcome back to Building a Better You, episode 3. We are super excited. We're here with Chase Breeden with Edward Jones. So why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Woohoo! Do you
What's
want
up?
like a
Yeah, well, my own
or something?
my own walk-up music would be great.
Oh.
So
I can throw some of that in post.
yeah, there.
Just,
Okay,
just tell me
perfect.
what you want.
Awesome. Yeah,
But-
Did you know the term post?
no,
Post is.
This is,
I realized this last
Yeah,
week.
this is something Chris has learned.
Yeah.
I'm way above my pay grade right now.
As I go back and edit, I'll put something in, but you
Wow.
know it needs to be royalty free.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's there to stop you from making me sound like a weirdo or something? There's nothing. You could just.
There is nothing.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
at the
full
mercies
grace
of
over it,
editing.
yeah.
So be kind to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you'll
Slip
regret
you
it
a
when
20.
this episode comes
Slip you
out.
a 20. Yeah. Yeah, well, my own walk-up music would be great. Yeah, who am I? Yes, my name's Chase, obviously. I'm a financial advisor here in town, resident of Garner. I would say one of the newer residents, but it's been, 6 months or something like that. We bought a house recently, my wife and I, and got a beautiful golden retriever, and you might find us frolicking around town, hanging out and doing all the cool Garner things that's going on. So, yeah, that's me.
The
Excited to be
cool
on.
Garner things. What is that? What is that?
Cool Garner things, man. What do you mean, what is that?
What does
Garner's
that look like?
Garner's the next boom town.
Are
Haven't you heard about
Are
this?
you walking across the street of timber to go through the woods and take a little lap?
Yeah.
A little lap.
Well, my wife does that a lot. I don't get that far. I don't get out of the cul-de-sac. Aristotle's always got its rotating menu. You gotta hit it up.
Mm-hmm.
They just put on a new menu last week. Plug for Aristotle. Jake
Okay.
hooked me up with a free drink or something. It's just,
I
fine.
still have yet to go to this place.
really.
Still have yet to go
Wow.
to this place.
This is
It's awesome.
I've
I
heard.
say the young professionals are going to be doing
I missed the
We
one
had
last
an
year.
networking.
Last
Yeah, we
time.
did. It was around Christmas. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I
going to try to
missed
do
that one.
something. Oh, it was good.
I know.
I go there at least minimum once a month, if not more. I'm at that, and we're at the Avisboro Grill like all the time. Those are
Mhm.
our kind of our main spots.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
yeah,
That's a good little spot. I like it.
yeah. Buffalo chicken wrap.
Ooh, yes, that
It's
looks
my,
really good. It's his go-to.
It's my
Yeah,
recommendation.
It's good.
It's like his baby, you know?
It is.
It's
Yep.
your baby.
It's my recommendation. Catch us there Thursday nights for music bingo. I've won once. I have won once for music bingo.
Again, one of the situations where I told him that I was going to be there. No, that was when your
You were there.
in-laws.
You were there.
Yes,
though.
I was there. I feel like I've gone more than you've gone.
So you don't even remember
And I
that
don't
you
even-
won music bingo.
I have not won.
No.
He's
Oh,
won.
he wasn't there.
I
for
have
the
won.
victory.
I have zero. I have zero checks after my name. Chase, he has
Yeah,
one.
but like you're like out having fun meeting people. I'm like I'm in the zone. I'm there for business. I roll up. I'm like, let's do this.
I want a nice little ticket to say, you get $5 off your meal tonight or a free drink.
But then you got to pay attention and stop talking to people.
I get some of those coupons in the mail. I'll save you one once in a while.
Oh,
I clip my Avis
I'm
Grill
worth the
coupons.
coupon, not the.
You get $10 off, like a meal, like $30. It's a great deal right there.
So thank you to all this episode's sponsors.
Yeah, exactly.
No, just kidding. They're not. They are great places, not actually paying us to say
Yes.
any of this. So definitely go check them out. But tell us a little bit about what you do with Edward Jones.
Yeah, exactly. So really, essentially what I do is I help people really just organize, build, and protect their wealth. So our primary focus is to help people invest through financials. We do things with retirement planning, education savings, and helping people build retirement income. So I'm also licensed in life insurance, so we help people
Okay.
protect themselves through that standpoint. But we kind of just, I tell people all the time, we help people answer financial questions and help them build a plan to achieve goals that they have. So that's pretty much what we do.
Awesome. So me back when I was younger, first getting out of college, getting into my career, um, investing was not even like
On the mind.
not even on the mind. Like it wasn't even close to the mind. Just not something that was on my radar at all. And so this podcast is geared towards young professionals and helping them out. So why do you think it is important for young professionals to be thinking about investing and thinking about what they're doing with their money?
Yeah, really, it's simple. And it's time. And so when you think about investing and you think about building wealth, your time is your best asset. And so if you're young, if you're in your 20s and 30s, you have a long, runway ahead of you to take off and to start, building wealth. And so, the big mistake I think I see people make that are younger is they wait too long to start investing, or they wait too long to start saving. And they're like, oh, I can just handle that later. I can take care of that later, or later.
Yeah.
And then they wake up and it's later, and they're in their mid 40s or early 50s, and they realize they don't have as much time left anymore before they want to retire. And it gets a lot more difficult, right? And so it's a lot easier to do when you're younger. I think one of the easiest, fun fact things is you think of the rule of 72. Do you guys know what the rule of 72 is?
Explain that for our viewers.
Okay, rule of 72 is
Listeners, but
yeah, for the
Same
listeners,
thing.
for the
Tomato,
viewers.
tomato.
You take 72 divided by your rate of return, right? So if you're sticking money in a vehicle and you're making, say, 10%, in that vehicle a year, you take 72 divided by 10, and it equals 7.2. So if you're doing that 10% a year, you'll double your money every 7.2 years.
Okay.
So obviously, with that frame of mind, if you want to double your money, right, and you're going to get 10%, we'll say, just for easy math, 7.2 years is how long it will take. The more 7.2 year periods of time that you have, the more you'll double your money, right? So that's just simple math. And so if you only have 7.2 years left to hit your goal, you'll double your money once. If you have, 30 years till that, you're actually going to double your money multiple times over. And so that's kind of where I tell people is like, it's just a lot easier to start young.
Yeah.
And you'd be amazed what just $50 here and there can do.
When did you start?
I started, so I'm a little.
You're what, like 32?
Yeah. 30, actually 29. I'm not even 30 yet.
Close.
I started, so I was a little fortunate. So I came from a family. My father is a CPA and then became a financial planner as part of his practice. I don't know, probably 20 years in. So I kind of grew up around this stuff, vivid memories of going through a lot of this and learning a lot about it and all that, CNBC, all that stuff was always on growing up. And so I actually I had my first stock account, first investment account when I was 14 or 15 years old, I think. And I think I have to say disclaimer, I'm not endorsing any companies, but it was actually the company I owned. And my dad let me pick because he was like, I want you to do your research. I want you to find something, what they do, what they sell. I want you to find something, yada, yada, yada. And at the time, I was really into American Eagle. You guys remember the?
Yeah,
right?
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I'd go
I
there
still
at
wear
the
that.
Cary
Yeah.
Town Center.
Absolutely.
R.I.P.
So at one point in my life, my very first stock that I owned myself that I bought with my own money was American Eagle stock. And that's how I got started. And
So, hold on. Before you go any further, I have to ask, did you sell it or is it toast?
it got sold eventually because I want to say I used some of those proceeds for a car.
Okay,
I want to say that's what I used it for.
So you
But
got
I
out before they tanked.
Yeah. I no longer own it.
Okay.
I no longer own it. And so that's how I started. And I've had retirement savings that I started at a very young age and have made some good decisions early on. And you would hope the guy that does it professionally would would be doing it the right way. And so yeah. But I know that I'm the anomaly, having some of that advantage of just the knowledge that some people just don't grow up with or don't have. And so, but yeah, that's kind of me.
So I heard you say, even if you could just set aside like $50 to put into these kind of things, and I can just thinking about me at that age and just hearing like, well, I just got out of college. I've got student loans, and now I probably need a car payment, and having to get insurance for the first time on my own, and now, and I also hear it's important to try to save up for a down payment on a house, and you got all these things. What advice could you give of like how, with all that stuff, how could you practically try to tackle that of setting some money aside into retirement or investments?
Yeah, so I think there's a number of things, and this is why I always tell people, like, sit down with a professional, sit down with an advisor. Most advisors, right, they don't. Some of them, a lot of them don't charge for their time. I mean, obviously do your due diligence, but sit down and start talking to them because, like, part of my job is what I do is I meet with individuals. Yes, they want to retire. Yes, they want to save for their kids' school. Yes, they want to do some of these things, but they also have other goals, like they want to replace the garage door, or they want to get a kitchen remodel, or they want to take a trip to Paris, whatever it might be. They have short-term goals, and my job is to help them build a plan that balances both short-term goals and long-term goals. And so I think have that conversation with somebody and start young, because there's things out there that, just you might not know of. Oh, well, if I bundle my car and my home insurance, then I can save $20.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Or if I do this or do that, I can say, there's just some things people don't know of.
Right.
Oh, if I open up a online savings account with a certain company, I can get a higher, just percent rate of return just for having my money sit there, and that's just stuff you just don't know. And so, I'm working with a young lady now who's 22, and she had a private student loan that was like 9.5% or something. We were able to work, and we got that lowered to 5%.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking, that's like $100 savings a
that's
month.
huge.
Just right there. And as you said, how much, money, that's a big deal for somebody. And so that's kind of some of the, that's what I would recommend people to do is to take a look at every little nook and cranny. But I joke with people a lot. Like, I could probably look at someone's budget right now and find $50.
Right.
That's a night out once a month.
Stop going to Starbucks.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. Or like one night out down at Aristotle, right?
Yeah.
You can spend $50 there on like
Easily,
that was like 4 cocktails at Aristotle. So I'm just saying, just some different things like that. So I think also one of the things that helps is just people seeing it on paper, of being like, holy cow, like that's what that can do. Like, once you realize, the rule of 72 and things like that.
And so your goal is, or your job essentially, is to provide that roadmap.
Yeah, pretty much. And, it's to educate people too, and to help them kind of educate. And you're right. There's some people that they can't right now. They got stuff going on that they might not be able to right now, but there's still habits and things people can, try and make happen now. And then at that point, when they do start getting those raises, and they start getting in their 40s, 50s, their highest earning years, they've built a good foundation, right? They're not making bad decisions that are gonna kind of hamper them later down the road. They're making good, sound, savvy decisions, and then that way, when they do get to that point where that earning power is there, that all young professionals want to get to that point, right? They'll be ready at that moment.
That's good. That's good. I love that. You said that. Because I'm assuming your job would be, once you start the process with these folks, you are essentially taking them every step of the way. So, following up every single year and touching base with them to see if anything has changed in their last year. Assuming whether it was a job or additional kid on the way or that kind of stuff. So I'm assuming you're all for the pivot game.
Oh yeah. Like we write the plan in pencil. I mean, it's we plan, God laughs, right? There's that big old, thing, but that's the reality of it. It's supposed to be a lifelong relationship where we're constantly adjusting as things and curveballs get thrown your way.
Right.
You're adjusting to what that is and pivot the plan.
Yeah. So speaking to like that relationship and lifelong, with your money, you want to be careful who you're trusting that with. Especially when you're thinking about retiring and things like that. So what kind of advice could you offer people about how do you even seek out someone like you, a financial advisor? How do you go about finding someone? What do you look for?
Yeah, that's a great point, Nick. I mean, because what I tell my clients when I tell people is money is not everything. Money's a tool for us to achieve our everything, right? And so at the core of it, what we want to be and what people want to be is they want to be a good father. They want to be a good husband, a good, they want to be all these things, and they want to do this certain stuff. And money's just a helpful tool to do that, right? They want to be able to, help their kid get through college without going into student loan debt, because that's their part of their value system. And money helps them do that. And so you bring up a good point, because the conversations we have, you'd be surprised, is a lot less about like numbers and more about like emotions and goals and values and what people want to accomplish. And this, so if you're having those conversations, you're absolutely right. You want to find somebody. I think a couple of things. It's really important to interview multiple people. I wouldn't just go to the first person. You're not going to marry the first person you date. Well, some people have, but it's worked out for them. But usually, it's few and far between. So I talk to multiple people, right, and understand their style, their philosophy, what their fees are, and their personality. I'd say most firms have they offer similar things. Okay. They offer similar fee structures. I mean, with some differences there. It doesn't really matter. Company A and Company B can both buy Company C stock. I mean, it's not like it's going to be a huge difference. But so in my opinion, Nick, I think it comes down to personality. Okay. Because as we alluded to, like, this is going to be somebody that you're going to be checking with on a regular basis as things come up. You're going to be, when you have a baby, there's going to be people you're going to call, and this person's going to be on that list at some point absolutely. Hey, this big life event just happened. How does this impact, or, this and that. And so I think it comes down to who do you know well, who do you trust, and ultimately, who do you like working with? Because, if you're a young person right now, you're choosing to work with this person for the next 30 to 40 years. You better like this person.
I love that. He just used the know, like, and trust model.
There you go. Know, like, and trust. Yeah. You better like this person, though, because, you're going to be talking to them for quite a long time. And I'd also recommend, especially if you're younger, find somebody that is going to be in the business for a long time. Yeah. Because, you don't want to have to work with somebody and then 5 to 10 years from now, they're retiring or they're leaving the business, and now you're doing this all over again. You're like, man, we just did this. It's like kind of like finding a church. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do all the steps, you gotta do all things, and then if you leave, you gotta do it all over again. You know what I mean? Or like dating and all that kind of stuff. So I think the last couple notes too, just like more specifics, I would definitely find somebody that has all the right licenses. Okay. So you're looking for like Series 7, Series 66, or a combination of the 65 and 63.
Can you explain a little bit to us laymen what that?
Bring it down to my point.
So I think the layman way of saying this is if they have all those licenses, right, they can pretty much do it all. Okay. Right. So they are able to sell, every type of product. They can use every type of tool in the toolbox for the most part, right? If they don't have all those licenses and they say they just have one thing, they have one tool. Gotcha. And what do they say about a contractor who just has a hammer in his toolbox? He's going to use the hammer for everything, right? He's screwed. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Funny. But the reality is,
that was a dad joke.
Yeah, it was bad. But let's just cut that out. Play some music over it.
No, that's staying in.
But so I tell people, like, you want somebody that has the multiple licenses, that's well versed, because you don't want to just get the hammer. If that's not what's going to fix your problem or be your solution, you want somebody that's going to have all the tools at their disposal. So if that kind of makes sense. I also think you got to find somebody that's fiduciary, and basically what that means is they're bound to act in your best interest. So that's a big thing that I would say. Those are kind of the two things. Make sure they have the right kind of licenses. Make sure they're fiduciary. You can do some Googling on what they call broker check, and you can actually look up every single person who's, quote unquote, a financial advisor who has these licenses, and you can see disclosures about them, if they've ever been sued, all that kind of stuff. Oh, wow. How long they've been registered, how long they've been with certain companies. Highly recommend doing all of that before you fork over some money.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
My record's still clean, so
Yeah, I'm gonna go search you as soon as we get done recording.
Trace Breeden, guys. Trace Breeden.
Yeah, Nick's gonna report me to the SEC or something.
So, as we bring it home, there's two questions we want to ask every guest, and so the first one we want to ask you, and this could be financial or this could just be life or anything else, but what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Yeah, that's That's a tough one, because I get a lot of advice. I am no dummy. I realize there are people that are much smarter than I am out there, and I try and draw from all of those different people, right? I don't know what the quote is, but it's something along the lines of, I only see further because I stand on the shoulders of giants, right? So that's very much me. And so I think right now what's on my heart in this moment is my father gave me, he's given me a ton of advice. And so I think it fluctuates what's at the top of my mind based on
Right.
what I'm dealing with and what I'm going through. And so, but I'll pay homage to the great Tim McGraw, right, with this one. So my father always told me, when my father heard this song for the first time, he sent it to me, and he said, "Always be humble and kind," right? And so I think that that's important, and I always remember that. And every time I hear the song, I think about, and the fact that my dad told me it means even more.
Yeah.
But you can never go wrong showing humility and kindness, right? People are drawn to that, and so when you think about the moments you're offered in life, however the small they might be, when you choose humility and kindness, it's going to take you so much further. People want to be around people that are humble and kind, and so enjoy your successes and enjoy those moments, celebrate them, but remember to stay humble and kind.
That's so good.
That's good. Are you staying humble and kind and celebrating your wins over at Aristotle?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
figured that.
yeah. I'm staying humble. My
That's,
my bank account keeps me humble after I do my celebrating there. Too bad you're not there to enjoy
not
it,
the
Chris.
wife.
No, she's there.
She's
Yeah,
there too?
she's the reason why. She gets the
Gotcha.
fancy drinks.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
All right. So Chase, last question. Therefore, we can finish this here because you've been great. We love all the communication that you got coming to us, all the good nuggets. I'm getting some good stuff. But what is one tip that you could give to someone else based off of what you do that works for you, that helps you to become a better Chase Breeden with Edward Jones?
Yeah. So, I mean, really two things I think about.
2 tips is good.
2 tips. I'll give you 2. And really, I think they're universal, not just to financial advising, but to everything. And I think every young professional should really take both of these into account. But the first one is be a student of the game, right? And so I think about, sports reference here, quarterbacks, right? They play the game, but that's not where it ends. They go back and they study the film. Study the film. Whatever industry you're in, stay on top of what's going on. Do the research, whether it's in, you're in real estate, whether it's you're in, office furniture sales, just know the best darn office furniture that's out there and what's coming and whether study the game. And so for me, that looks like I do listen to quite a bit of different podcasts, different thought leaders on the economy and the market, as well as different trends in the job market and personal finance and just all real estate, all sorts of things that just impact people's, money. And so that's one big thing that I do, and I do it every day. Listening to different stuff. That's what I recommend. So be a student of the game. The second one is simple. It's called Plan Tomorrow Today. And so what I do before I leave, not necessarily before I leave the office, because my work is very fluid. It doesn't really stop, as we talked about. I'm taking a call here at 7, so from my house. But before I, shut the workday down, I'd say I take a time each day, and even on Sundays to and for Sundays is to plan out the following week. But what I do is I plan out tomorrow, or I plan out the following week on that day.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier to be productive and driven at work versus when you show up. And I'm not saying you have to do this after hours. If you're in a 9 to 5 job, do it from 4:45 to 5.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this on a Sunday like me or whatever. Do it from 4:45 to 5 on a Friday, whatever it might be. Do it then. Don't work extra if you don't have to, but take those few minutes, plan it out, look over your schedule. So this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to accomplish tomorrow. Write it down, physically write it down or type it up or whatever, however you track it. And that way when you come in the next morning, that's the first thing you go and look at. You're like, all right, the 3 things I'm accomplishing today are X, Y, and Z. It'll set you up for massive success kind of going forward, yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. That's really good.
Plan tomorrow, today, and be a student of the game.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in, for talking to us. Chase Breeden with Edward Jones. We'll throw his
he just
contact.
winked at me.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
You're
I don't know
special.
am I supposed to wink back? I don't know.
Do I get my check from Dustin for
Yeah, you
for
can
my
talk
royalty?
to him. You can talk to him about that.
It's not Matthew.
Nah, no, just Dustin.
My
Just
NIL
Dustin.
deal?
Yeah,
You gotta
exactly.
you gotta tweet him actually in order to get in touch with him.
I don't have Twitter.
You and Chris both. But we'll throw your contact information in the episode notes. And as always, y'all go please rate, review, subscribe. Like we say, we hate saying it, but it helps us get out to more people. So if this was helpful for you, please go do that for us. Remember, 1-star reviews can go to Dustin@GarnerChamber.com. Put the 5-star ones on iTunes and Spotify. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Pool party.
Oh, you know who's having a
Karen's having a pool party? Karen sent you an invitation to this pool party?
Wait
Thank you,
Yeah,
Nick. See, I can count on you. Chase over here, he just drops the bomb and
know.
says,
He
boom.
leaned on us for the introduction. It's like,
I
forget you guys, I'm
know.
going to the pool.
Exactly.
We're not recording anymore, are we?
Yes. I mean, those muffins were smaller.
Yeah,
I'm pretty certain I paid more.
inflation.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, shrinkflation.
Sorry,
What?
I can't get the picture of Chris playing poker with goldfish and Oreos. Like, I see your 3 goldfish and raise you a double stuffed.
I'm just
Like,
saying.
I'm sorry, after you win that Oreo and it's already passed between 5 people, you're not eating it. What are you?
Yeah, true. Are you allowed to eat it or?